Neon lights, we take a stand. Knights and wizards across the land.
Hello, my Spookingtons. It is I, your favorite evil scientist, the OGG Spokky, wishing you a happy and healthy and safe Halloween. All right, I can't do the voice anymore. I'm too old. Hi, happy Halloween. It's 8:37 in the morning. It's the 31st day of October. It's 57 degrees and gloomy outside. Steve is meowing a lot because he's a black cat and it's Halloween and whatever. It's Halloween. So hopefully you are all safe and happy and healthy and ready for tonight. Please don't do anything too stupid. And if you have pets, remember to keep them indoors during Halloween. And generally at this point in time in the status of the world, probably just keep your pets indoors every day. Let's take a look at all the tabletop role-playing game crowdfunding thingies that are coming to an end this week. But you still have a chance to support if that is something you are interested in. I've provided the links to the ones I think are worth your time, but only one of them worked. Something's wrong with Kickstart today, or I broke Kickstart. So whatever. Let's take a look to see what we can see. Hit share screen, and then we're going to see if it works. And then there it is. Okay. All right, so first up from Mothership, we have Prospero's Dream, a collaborative campaign box set from Tuesday Night Games. This ends November 12th. It is $60 for the PDF and print version of the box set. Map, pamphlets, pawns, and RPGnews. Do you need a campaign setting for Mothership set in a space station? It's got a space station. There's a series of adventures set in the space station. Map, dice, more. So DS9 meets Mothership. So DS9, but more people die. From Let's Roll Press, we have Chippewick. Chippewick. Isn't that a real place? A Souls-like cosmic horror campaign for 5e. Those are words I never thought I'd string together. Souls-like, Dark Souls. People use that word a lot, Souls-like. I don't know if people, because they're referring to Dark Souls. They're referring to that style of what Dark Souls was. So, I've never played Dark Souls. I've watched like half of a playthrough. I really don't know a lot about it, but apparently it's a thing. That is a specific style of role-playing game, which I think it means very hard and very grim, and you die a lot. All right, so we have dying a lot. We've got the link isn't working, is it? I'm showing you things, but hold on. There it is. So we got dying a lot, dark, grim, spooky, horror role-playing game. It's because I'm running two separate channels. Cosmic horror, so tentacles. From 5e, this is $70 for the PDF and print version of the book, as well as a digital deck, tokens, and a soundtrack. Ooh, a spooky soundtrack. So a 400-page book gives you cosmic horror in a city called Chapelwick. What do I think? I think that sounds like a real place, isn't it? Oh, Chapelwick, yeah. Including a madness mechanic. All right, so 5th edition and Dark Souls. No. 5th edition and cosmic horror. No. Stop trying to make 5th edition something it's not. It will not work. If you are looking for a game that does fantasy cosmic horror, that game exists. It's not 5th edition. If you're looking for a game that does horror, that game exists. It's not 5th edition. If you're looking for Cthulhu in a city, that game exists. But it's not 5th edition. 5th edition is very specific. And when you let it work, it works. But when you try and make it anything other than it is, you might as well just use a different game. And I get it. You want to stamp that 5e compatible label on it in the hopes that it'll increase your sales. Ooh, horror for 5e. Let's make something that it's not. If you want to play that genre, play that genre. Don't try and make that genre fit 5e. The 5e engine is very specific, and I assume the 5e 2024 version engine is even more specific for a very specific style of play. And I appreciate that people are looking to play other games with 5e, but if you want to stretch your wings and try other systems, buy that system. Okay. 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 All right. Moving on. From Phantom Mill Games, we have Wilderem, Wilderdream, Wilderdream, I don't know. The Saintly Hollows for OSE, so anything D20 that isn't, 5e. Well, I suppose this is D20 would work with 5e. Anyways, it's $75, shipping and handling, PDF and print versions of both books. It's an Arthurian world gone strange. His knights, oaths, loyalty, madness, strange dealing, and adventures into something new and dark. So if you've ever saw the movie The Green Knight, it's kind of like that. So OSR goes King Arthur, goes dark and twisted and Grimm's fairy tale. Okay, that could be good. From the Mars Press and the estate of Clark Ashton Smith, one of the great founding fathers of science fiction, we've got Clark Ashton Smith's Zothique, Zothique, and a deluxe illustrated omnibus. This is $264 in shipping and handling for the PDF and print version and the 4 books on the map. This is building upon the Zootech Final Cycle by Clark Ashton Smith. It's an illustrated omnibus of the stories published with permissions. The game promises a combination of magic and doom under a dying sun. I'm not familiar with that series, but I guess we've got old Conan here. You get a free map. Anybody know this series? I'm not familiar with the Clark Ashton Smith Zothique series. Anybody? Oh, I got a comment. Happy Halloween, Shadow and Sun. But I guess this is a thing. I'd click the link, but I don't think it's working. A long lasting published permission with the estate. The last continent beneath the dying sun. Here, necromancers weave their domains from Channel Thrones, forgotten gods, whispers. So it sounds like Dark Sun, or just every other Conan-esque style game that came out during that time period. So other than the name recognition, how is this different than every other game that tries to capture this Dark Sun, doom and gloom, Merkborg style? Anybody familiar? I'm not, so I can't say yay or nay about the game or the system or the world. So if you're familiar with it, I assume this would be something you'd want. And if you're not familiar with it, and if you're like me, then you're just going, how is this different than every other Dark Sun, doom and gloom, Conan, Hyboria, low magic, sword and sandal role-playing game? What does this one do that the others don't? Would be the question that I ask any game like this, Anyways, good luck, guys. $265 for a role-playing game is way too much. Hopefully there's a cheaper version. It is for D20. Here we have a way too huge waste of space ad from MythWorks for Wild Sea Tigers of the Wire. You guys remember Wild Sea? We did a quick one through last week. Amazing art. Love the idea of the setting, but it's $20, so it's the cheapest so far. So this is adding to the world of Wild Sea, which is, sort of Water World meets the Avatar movie, meets Moana, meets Pirate Dinosaur Island. And I love Pirate Dinosaur Island. And I really love the art, but it felt like it was a little too much for that. But $20 is the cheapest one on here, so it's worth supporting just for that. From Robbie Howell, we have Enclave, the diceless tabletop role-playing game with infinite deaths. It's $40 for the PDF of the book. Claims that no I was used. It's a diceless role-playing game, but one of the rare ones that has no randomizers. Instead, your decisions, logic, and player involvement determine outcomes. The setting involves an organization that sends you on missions across a variety of multiverses, each different, so your character experiences different adventures, cultures, and dangers. So GURPS, imagine a game where there's no numbers and no limits. So basically, I just tell you what my character is going to do, and you decide whether he does it or he doesn't. And then we argue over where they're, I mean, mostly dice list systems use another system to generate randomness, be it cards or whatever. Rochambeau, but this is just the DM going, all right, you see a door. And the player goes, I open the door. And the DM goes, oh, it's locked. And the player goes, oh, I kick it open. Since I have no strength score, I'm just going to say I succeed. It sounds like Fate. You guys remember my story about Fate, right? When I played that game and a half of Fate, where basically I just, you know, nobody would explain the rules to me, and just so I just automatically assumed that I was successful until told otherwise. Well, I'm just going to assume I'm successful since there's no dice. There's no randomness. There's no chance of failure. There's no chance of success. That's just, so therefore, if it doesn't operate like real life, I'm just going to always assume that I succeed until the DM tells me otherwise. And even then I might go, are you sure I don't succeed? Because I would think that my character, you know, would succeed because I'm Batman. Yeah. From RPG Rumblings, we have Dark Devilty for Shadowdark. Yay, some love for Shadowdark. $60. Why spend $60 on a Shadowdark product when you can spend $6 on a Shadowdark product? By me. I don't know. It seems like, yeah, just anything. Anyways, this is $60 for the PDF and print version. It is demons, infernal, ancestry, spells, possessions, 120 pages of hell, demon, evil, dark stuff. Demons and devils and infernal stuff for Shadowdark to make it even more evil and dark. Thankfully, amongst all the darkness that Shadowdark seems to be embracing, there's one voice that tries to bring a little teeny bit of whimsy and joy to the Shadowdark universe, and that's me. Yeah. So instead of spending 60, you could spend 6. Use the link down below. Get my Shadowdark stuff instead. This one I'm excited about, the Scarred Lands from Aegis Studios, being made for Savage Worlds. This is $30 for the PDF and POD. It's Onyx Path Scarred Lands setting, which was one of the best 5e settings that came out, and one of the best OGL settings that came out when the whole OGL thing started. It's a great Greek mythology-centered world with a really cool, I love the Scarred Lands settings. I love the maps. I love the books. I played in a short-lived Scarred Lands setting, so I'm really excited to see what happens with this. If I didn't, you know. So this one's cool. I would have posted a link to this one, but Kickstarter's not working, or wasn't working when I was trying to do this. Anyways, I'm excited about that one. That's definitely worth your time, maybe. From Magpie, we have Urban Shadows, Algiers and Angels for Powered by the Apocalypse. This is $15, so you're now the cheapest one on the Bing. PDF and print version. It's Urban Shadows with 30-page booklet from Magpie Game. The book provides new playbooks, city hubs, and city guide, allowing you to augment the city of Algiers and the balance and stuff. And I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Urban Shadows role-playing game. This is an addition to the Urban Shadows role-playing game using Powered by the Apocalypse from Magpie Games, creators of the Avatar: The Last Airbender role-playing game. I guess it's I don't know, cyberpunk? Demon punk. Don't know. You tell me if that's something you're interested in. I post the links. You just tell me whether it's something you want to pick up or not. That seems fair, right? And speaking of Shadow and Sun, I have been asked to shout out one more Kickstarter that is coming to an end. And that is, if I can get it to work, Kickstarter being weird today. Plus, I'm using 2 different screens. The Portal of Adventure from our friends at Emperor Games for the Arduin. This is a reprint of the original Arduin Gamor trilogy, which I absolutely love. You've heard me talk about Arduin before. You've heard me talk about how, to me, the work of David Hargrave is way more important than Gygax. The Arduin style, the gonzo science fiction fantasy style, was very much the style I played D&D in the 80s and 90s. And yeah, pretty much science fiction, fantasy. There's so many things in Arduin that ended up showing up in other games that Wizards of the Coast and TSR blatantly stole because David never really, worried about things. I met Hargrave. I played through an adventure he ran years ago at the Los Angeles Science Fiction and Fantasy Society in Burbank. It was an adventure called God Home. And it was Nazis and dinosaurs and clowns, and it was just wacko craziness. And yeah, I was a huge fan of the Arduin Grimoire. Loved the cards, loved the weirdness. So I'm very excited to see that they're still working on it. As you know, we had them on the channel last year and the beginning with talking about the maps, those gorgeous maps, which is, right behind me on the wall. And they sent me a back scratcher. I wanted a t-shirt. They sent me a t-shirt. Really great guys. Had a chance to talk to them. Then they fell off the map for a little bit, and we were wondering what they were doing. And then they said they were not going to be releasing Arduin to 2026 or 2027 because they wanted to make sure everything was done before they could start the Kickstarter. But now they're doing this. So we've got a reprint of the original 3, if you're familiar with the original Arduin books. We've got two other games. We've got Arduin in it. Then we've got Borrows and Borderlands by Matthew Terp, which is obviously inspired by Arduin. It's a weird science fantasy role-playing game about a dark radioactive wasteland of magic and black powder. So think wizards, think heavy metal, think Thunder the Barbarian. And then also added onto this is, where is it? The Lost Dungeon of Tornsburg from Blackmore / Griff Morgan. I have the Lost Dungeon of Tornsburg. I wasn't very impressed with it. We did a playthrough of it last year. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, and because it's Griff Morgan, I chose not to actively support this because of Griff Morgan and because of the way he behaved towards our good friend Harmony Ginger and the way he behaved towards our good friend Kelsey Dion. But, need to keep my personal feelings aside. This looks amazing. If I had Kickstarter money just to get Arduin again and all this other stuff, but yeah, I don't have the money to, $30 for the PDF. And this is something you'd want the physical of. It's it's $100 I don't have right now, guys. So I couldn't support it even if I wanted to. I refuse to support anything that Griff Morgan has connection with. Yeah, he did apologize to Harmony and everything like that, but still, whatever. I'm here to report the news. I'm not here to spread my personal opinion on the news. I try to remain impartial. So yes, this looks amazing. I don't know anything about the other game, but I have the Lost Dungeon at Tornsburg. Well, I sold it. It was a decent OSR dungeon, wasn't great. And Arduin, which is amazing. It's worth it just for the Arduin stuff. If you're a fan of that series, which of course I am. And I'm hoping when the real playtest of Bloody Arduin Kickstarter starts, we can have them on and talk about it, and they will have re-edited it, reformatted it, represented it, because the Arduin Grimoire books were amazing, but from the terms of editorial, they were a mess. There was just basically Hargrave's stream of thought, and as you went later in the books, the more stream of thought they became and the less coherent they became. It was very hard to follow them. It was very hard to figure out what they were talking about. So that was one of the major issues, but you just have to flip through the books and see how much stuff TSR borrowed from Hargrave and other companies borrowed from Hargrave, like the Franks. So yeah, there you go. So that's a Kickstarter. I've included links to that one and the Scarred Lands from Savage Worlds. If you remember, we talked about the Savage Worlds Rifts box set, and tons of people said Savage Worlds did Rifts better than Rifts. And then they had the Savage World Pathfinder box set where they converted everything from Pathfinder to the Savage World systems. And again, people said Savage Worlds did Pathfinder better than Pathfinder. So Savage Worlds doing the Scarred Land, I'm going to assume it does the Scarred Lands better than the Scarred Lands. There's nothing really system-wise unique about the Scarred Lands. It was D20. It was 3.5 and then early 5. It was in a great setting. So I hope Savage Worlds does the setting right. It is a really cool take on Greek myths and fantasy and some weird, wonderful monsters and adventures, several of which showed up in my early Freeport campaign. So that's cool. The Art of Gomorrah is cool. All these books are cool. If any of them interest you, there's links down below. You can use my drive-through affiliate link, pick up your own copy, or instead of spending $60 on a Shadowdark adventure, you can spend $6 on a Shadowdark adventure or $4 on a Shadowdark adventure and pick up the OGGM's various Shadowdark thingies. Links down below. You support me, you support the holidays, you support Steve the cat. That's all I've got to say. It is Halloween. So once again, please, if you are going to do anything shenanigan-wise tonight, please drink and drive responsibly. Have a designated driver. Please be careful out there because there's going to be a lot of kids running around in costumes. If anybody comes up to your door, because, it's scary out there. So just be safe. To quote my favorite Halloween movie, as long as you follow the rules, you'll be all right. And all kidding aside, if you do have pets, especially if you have cats, especially if you have a black cat, keep them inside tonight. Till next time, I'm the OGGM. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you never want to hear me talk about this ever again, let me know. Till next time, get off my land.
Monsters lurking in the night.